You didn't do your countdown.
Oh, sorry. 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go.
Welcome back, everyone, to another one of our Sunday episodes. This is where we answer your questions, all your comments. We go through them throughout the week, and we pick the ones we like, and we discuss them in a bit more detail here. My name is Daniel. This is Santo.
Nice to meet you.
And yeah, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with this
Pick
one
a good
here.
one.
Okay.
An easy one. Let's start it easy.
Okay, and I'll pick this one from Lewis Martin. He says, bro, you gotta be more concise. Way too long to get a point across that should take 2 sentences, not 8 minutes.
Okay. There. Is that what he means?
I think that's
done.
That's probably as concise as he wants it.
I tell stories. This is me. I tell the scenario. I talk about what's going on.
I mean,
bro, they call me
yeah,
bro. Bro.
People seem to like the stories though, so I think we're okay.
Okay. Next question or
so
comment.
Next comment. So Looney San says, my neighbors recently spent $100,000 in renos, fence, floors, countertops, etc. prior to listing, and now they've discovered they will be lucky to recoup 50% of what they invested. That's a tough pill to swallow.
That's a very tough pill to swallow. If they were getting, I guess, advice from a realtor that was really trying to help them out, then that realtor should know and say, hey, if you're doing all these renos just to sell, you're not going to get your money back. Don't do it. Just don't do it. You're better off selling it lower, but overall netting more money because you don't have that $100,000 expense. You spend $100,000 to update reno, it might only mean you sell for an extra 50, 60, 70,000 maybe. And so it's a net loss actually of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. So it's not a good idea. Don't do it. Lots of people have done it. You know what I blame this on? All these TV shows that say, do this and that'll happen. All these HGTV shows. Yeah. It's bringing our society down, let me tell you.
Yeah, and the cost of renos is so high now too that it makes it tricky.
It's insane.
Right? So okay.
Do the renos, but enjoy it for a few years. Enjoy the fruit of your labor. Down the road, sell it. Don't do it just to sell.
So next question here, or next comment here. So this is about the video that we did where the agent had called you because there was something missing in the house. Okay, so David...
The watch was missing.
Yes, David, and someone noticed that you had a pretty nice watch on at that time.
I've lost my watch. I can't be wearing the evidence.
Oh boy. So David WLI says he was in a $3 million home months ago and saw the same thing. Pricey watches on display in walk-in closet. He also thought that it was odd and almost brought it to the attention of the selling agent, but then assumed they had some sort of video security system to prevent theft. It seems risky though, even though potential buyers would be affluent.
I don't think that matters. It's risky overall. If you're on the market, you're for sale, you're inviting strangers into your home. Many times they're going to be unsupervised. I mean, even if they are with a realtor that's walking them through the home, it's not like the realtor's with them every second of the way. And if there's 2 of them, and if there's a child, one of them goes and chases the child because that child might get away and is trying to escape through the house. And, and oftentimes you get split up. It's just nature of the beast.
Yeah.
There's going to be people alone sometimes, and why make it easy, tempting? I mean, the seller, if something goes missing, the seller is the victim. But why make it easy? It's like leaving the keys in your car and the windows open. It's like...
We were just talking about that actually.
Yeah, why are you making it easy? Don't leave the keys in the car.
So, I think it's particularly scary when it comes to open houses, right? Yeah. So you'll have, I mean, if any of you guys have gone to open houses, then you know that most times you'll have to sign in and it's just basically a piece of paper with name, phone number, email address, something like that.
Yeah, you can't read the name. The email address is wrong. Phone number is wrong.
It's fake, right? It's fake
just,
most of the
you
time.
do this.
So, and a lot of times, like when we go to open houses on the weekends, I mean, we'll see like 20 families.
Sometimes they're busy.
10 inside, 10 outside.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely advised to hide all valuables when you're going on the market for any reason. Right?
Just don't make it tempting.
Yeah.
Even though you're the victim, don't make it tempting.
Yes. Okay, so the next comment here is one that we've talked about actually quite often, and it seems like a no-brainer, but for some reason it's not something that they do. So XYZ 1663 says, need to pass a law that mortgage lenders must verify income with CRA.
Okay.
That alone would crash GTA prices 80%. Real estate agents and those involved in mortgage fraud need to be jailed. You want supply and demand? Okay, let's have pricing based on that, but without the massive mortgage fraud. Supplying documents for fake job and fake income has become common service by real estate agents.
Mr. XYZ, I agree with almost everything you said. Mortgage fraud is illegal. People should go to jail for it. Everybody involved should be affected and go to jail. And I agree it'll affect home prices. I'm not on board that home prices will drop by 80%. If I understood correctly, that's what he's saying. Mm-hmm. But I would imagine that these people getting fake mortgages in order to buy are adding to the buyer pool and are buying properties that normally wouldn't be bought and are affecting the supply and demand balance, which in turn affects prices. So, but on the legality side, I'm totally with you. I'll sign the petition. Send it to me. I will happily sign it. These people should go to jail.
Peter Rasney 5718 says,
Peter,
when home prices are at these ludicrous levels, most people don't have the ability to comprehend or rationalize what the actual value of a home is, especially when they have FOMO. They proceed to overbid because each additional $1,000 has no tangible feeling behind it. It's just debt that you're required to make payments on down the road. It really feels like we are losing the ability to place a fundamental value on many of the goods and services within the economy. Too many scared morons who want it now and are willing to pay anything to get it. Whether it's a good idea or if they can afford it is irrelevant.
A lot of what, it's Peter? Mm-hmm. It was Peter. Peter, a lot of what you said, I'm on board with also. It's like they're not buying the house, they're buying the mortgage payment. And as long as they can afford the mortgage payment, then they'll buy as much house as they possibly can.
Well,
But then mortgage payments change like we saw, and they're in big, big trouble. Now, as far as what's the value of the house, well, that house sold for $1 million and mine is the same, and it's a week later, then I should expect $1 million for my house. You know, that's value is a moving target. Value for you is different, value from somebody else. But, you know, as far as goods and services and values, and there's different ways of looking at that.
Well, I think we had this conversation recently, me and you actually, when it comes to just focusing on the payments. I mean, we're seeing it everywhere now. Yeah. You can split a $50 thing of makeup for into 4 payments now.
Yeah, you could buy makeup on a payment plan.
So it's like there's just so many things, and you know, when you think of especially of more luxury goods, and so you're thinking of maybe a more luxurious house.
Your phone, right? You could buy your phone. You could buy running shoes. You could buy everything
on a payment plan now, and so that's exactly right on. I think it's hard to understand the actual cost of something when you're just thinking about, can I afford this each month?
Exactly.
Right? Each payment.
That's the thing. I mean, the world would be different if we had to pay cash up front.
Yeah.
How many Louis Vuitton bags would there be out there? How many realtors would be driving BMWs and Mercedes and Porsches if you had to pay for it up front. Right now, all you got to do is get a real estate license and boom, get your BMW.
Comes with the license.
Yeah, it's part of the license.
But yeah, no, so that's a very good point. I think there's definitely a loss of the grasp of the money that you're paying when all you're thinking about is really just the payment itself. So next comment is from VS99109. And so this is with regards to the video we did a couple days ago where you're talking about the agent that underbid, or sorry, that put in a lowball offer. And
then was upset.
And then was upset.
That we weren't entertaining it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
I'm ready for this one. I got a lot of slack on this
you did.
on our comments.
You did.
Jeez.
So where were these videos when people were offering $300,000 above asking? I'm sure you wouldn't have found anything wrong with those offers or any rudeness in the agents then. I wish there are more buyers and agents like the one you described. If a lot more rudeness is required to burn the real estate market in Canada, so be it. The next generation will be thankful.
Look, VS was the person?
Yeah.
Mr. or Mrs. VS. The only thing that agent that was super rude accomplished two things. Did no service for his client, that's one thing. And the other thing he did is has me think what a jerk this person is. Like, he accomplished nothing. And if there was more agents like that rude agent, all we would have is more rude agents. But it's by no means a way to get prices lower, because that's not what happened in that scenario. You might have missed that part that we sold it for over asking, but that wasn't the reason I was telling the story, so I don't want to talk about that right now. It's just strategically, you've got to understand, you got to get along with other people, and you got to be nice if you're going to push your client's agenda. And if your agenda is to buy it for lower, you got to get that message across. But if you're a jerk about it, no one's going to give you the time of the day. That was the point of that discussion.
And they can actually go back to Friday's video for the clarification.
Yeah.
On Thursday.
I ended up clarifying that in another video. Holy smokes. Video.
But I will say also, you know, we've mentioned it, and I mean, I'm behind the camera every single video.
Yes.
So I
pointing at me saying, don't say that.
I've watched all of these, as I'm sure a lot of you have too. But you know, when we had quite a few videos where we talk about, you know, the 300, 400,000 above asking.
And we were saying how great, what are you buyers doing? Why?
The whole thing was, you know, these things aren't going to appraise.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I think we had plenty to say when it came to the craziness that happened. But
you know, I think we're pretty neutral here.
I think so too.
We just call out the bad actors, the bad situations, the bad scenarios on both sides of the table. Yeah. I think we're pretty neutral.
So next comment here goes back to the video about the lowball offer. So I am going to read half of the comment because I think there's two separate parts. But Dragstore1 says, I like your content, but this time you made it sound like the property was listed for $200,000 and you had an offer asking to drop $150,000, which would have been lowballed. But when the numbers are 1.2 to 2 million, those 150,000 does, I imagine he meant does, or he or she meant doesn't seem like much.
That's just a false statement. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if the property was inexpensive, let's just say the property is $500,000 and somebody lowballs by 150, it's like, well, that's a big percentage of the price. It must be a lowball offer for sure. What if the property was $3 million and somebody offers 150,000 less? It doesn't seem to you, based on your comment, like that's a lowball offer. But what if I tell you all the properties on that street within the last month that have sold, the same properties have sold for $4 million, and that seller that has it on the market at $3 million is stuck and needs a quick sale and puts it out for $3 million because they need it sold immediately, and somebody comes in 150,000 less, That's a low ball offer. The listing price is already way, way lower than the market value. So it's irrelevant what the actual sale price is. It's really about what's the market value. And you may think if it's $1 million, that's way too much for a house. It's irrelevant also what we think. If the other homes are selling for $1 million on that street, same homes, then the value of that home's $1 million. And if somebody comes in 100,000 less, it's a low ball offer. Now, people can do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but just your assessment of, hey, on the higher properties, it's okay to offer lower. It's always okay. There's nothing against it. But if you're actually trying to buy it and your budget is to, pay market value for something, and the seller is not under undue stress and is expecting to sell it for market value, your lowball offer is not going to get anywhere.
Now, I wonder when we get comments like this, I always wonder, this person had their house on the market, their 1.2, or let's say on the high end, $2 million house on the market. Would he feel, or they feel?
Oh, the person who made the comment?
Yeah, would they feel like if it's a lowball offer, if someone came in at $1,850 and they were at $2 million?
That's a really, I know the answer. Some of these comments where people are upset that, houses are too expensive and, he should be able to get it for his lowball offer no matter what, because sellers are too greedy. Look, right now I'm talking like I represent the seller, but I also represent the buyer on many transactions. And I could tell you, every single buyer or seller I work with, the buyer wants to get it for as low as possible, and the seller wants to sell for as high as possible. And even when we put the deal together, and once it's accepted, buyers and sellers are happy. The next morning, every buyer thinks, if I would have pushed a little more, I probably could have got it for a little less. And every seller thinks, we accepted the deal yesterday, but I wonder if I pushed a little more, could I have gotten a little more out of them? Every time. So, but
and we see it so clearly when we're working with either a move up or move down buyer.
When there's a client,
it's funny how the switch flips.
What Daniel's talking about is when we're dealing with a client who's selling and buying. They're selling their house and they're buying another one. When they're selling, oh man, they get upset at the lowball offers. They are trying to squeeze the price as much as possible. But now, when we're out shopping for a house, it's the exact opposite. What's the matter with the seller? Why won't he take my numbers?
And you can't blame them. It's just how it is,
life,
right?
It's just the way it is.
All right. And so that ends our segment for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, we just pick these comments kind of randomly. Well, we go through them, we see which ones would make good discussion comments, and we pick them throughout the week. So feel free to leave your comments in this video and all the videos, and maybe they will end up on this show.
I want to say we have a great audience.
Yeah, you know what? It's
no, we really do. It's the community that is developing here. Agree or disagree, with my point of view, our point of view on real estate, that's fine. But the comments, the people, I think it's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all your comments.
Thank you. And that ends it for today. So we will see you guys next week, or actually in a couple days for the market reports. See you then.
Thank you.